So
Yep. Okay. All right. It's time for open conversation. There were a lot of games that got announced on here and everything like that. Let's have a conversation. Talk about games that stood out of us. Let me bring out one game that did stand out that did not make sense to be there. Like, okay. Let me rephrase that. I think games belong. Any game deserves to be on a thing if they want to. I say it doesn't make sense in the direct of the flow of it, and it's that fashion game, like the influence kind of game.
Fashion Dream.
Yeah, the game that feels like it's more like a phone app game more than a official like video game for the Switch, and I don't know. It definitely hurt the flow a little bit, but
Because most people who are obsessively watching the direct have no interest in that game.
yeah, but people don't know, it's a fashion game where your only goal is to be an influencer. So you're just you wear different kind of clothes, and then you get other people to like your clothes, and your goal is to kind of help spread the word of you influencing everybody.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it feels like a mobile game, because it feels like it's just a quick game like that. I don't know what a fun goal that would be in my thought in my head, other than like just wearing stuff. I would, if this game had an RPG element and basically like the world will destroy if you don't know how to do your fashion right, maybe I would give it a little bit more pass.
I will tell you this. I don't think it. I mean, it's obviously not going to sell gangbusters, but there is a market for it.
Of course, I'm not that. You're right. You're absolutely right. I am not that market. So that's why I said it. All games belong on there. I'm just saying, like, it just didn't fit the flow that I felt like for it. So
no, I agree. It almost felt like they're padding numbers at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Now with that out of the way, for me, Bad and Kato's 1 and 2 collection. That has been rumored for the last couple of weeks. I'm excited to replay those again. My friend Brian Frother bought that for me for Christmas one time. We were exchanging Christmas presents, and he bought that for me. And I enjoy it. It was the first card game that I didn't think I like, and then I find out later, it's the developers for Xenoblade, Monolith Soft, that did these games, and they were on the GameCube, and those games are very, 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 very expensive. And I'm glad that
Are they?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Now I gotta look that up.
Oh yes. They're very rare. They're looking like about $100 to $200 for the right sellers and stuff like that. They're very rare. That's why a lot of people don't talk about it. Especially, I think the prequel is.
Origins is 130-ish, but Baten Kaitos, regular Baten Kaitos, $60. Baten Kaitos 2, $70.
So yes, in the price charting, but if you go look at sales like Amazon and eBay, they sell double that.
Well, this is just me, my personal opinion. It is extremely bad idea to buy retro games off of Amazon.
Absolutely.
Premium.
Absolutely.
Listings are anywhere from $40 to $60 for Baten Kaitos.
Yeah, but getting 2 of these is better than buying them separately, by the way we're looking at the math here. And this is another game I probably will get day one, because this is definitely a game that's going to get rare really quick. It's going to get rare really quick, because I don't think they made a lot of copies. I don't think there's a lot of big fan base for that. I think these are just for the people that been kind of a small group to talk about it, and are like, sure, we'll do it. I enjoyed the first one. Now, I know they announced that the voiceover for the English will not be in this edition, which is fine. I wish it was on there, because I want people to enjoy the terrible voice acting that game had. But for people that don't know, it's an RPG we're using a set of deck of cards, and what's interesting is these deck of cards act as your actions, but also, too, some cards also affect the time of day that you can be used for certain elements and solve puzzles in different ways. And I thought it was pretty cool in that aspect. And it didn't get a lot of shout out, but the sequel prequel for it, I heard fix a lot of things the first one needed to be fixed. So I'm excited to play that one more than the first one. But I like the twist of the game where, like, you're not really the main character. You're really kind of like a watcher of the game in a weird way. That's me paraphrasing. But okay. I definitely want to get this game again on day one, because I know that this is the best way to get it, and I know that it's going to be very hard to get later in the long run. And it's Monolith Soft. I'm a big Monolith Soft fan, because I love their products, and I like when they try to do something different. This was one of their first different ones. Now, am I screaming for another Baten Kaitos? No, probably. I don't care if we get another one.
This collection only has 1 and 2. It doesn't have Origins, right?
2 is Origins. I
saw 3 separate games.
No. It's Bad and Kato's 1, and the second it's a second one, but it's all.
It's 2.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I said it's a sequel prequel. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's my bad. I looked at the wrong one. So yes. One is $60 to $70. The other is $130-ish.
Yeah. Origin was even harder to get than the original Bad and Kato's. But yeah, you get both of those for I'm gonna throw out. I think it's gonna be $60. But I think it's a good for those for that rarity. If you're a rare hunter, I think, and you want to try these games again, yeah, that's probably your best bet, and you better get it quick. So I'm waiting when the pre-orders start from that, which is coming out in the summer. I don't think they put a date on it. I think it's coming out this summer. I'll be probably getting that day one just for that, because I do want to replay those again, and they look good. The remasters for the upgrade remaster of them look good. They look really good, and in that game, those games look good beforehand, because it's very artsy backgrounds, very artsy kind of looking kind of game. So it's really pretty cool.
Yeah, the GameCube was very, very, very underrated as far
as
games
it is. It was the most experimental console to me out of all of them. That's why it was my favorite console of all time, because it was just
one of the most. I mean, it was more powerful in certain aspects than the PS2.
Yeah, Resident Evil 4. Remember Resident Evil 4 came on there?
Point.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur looked the prettiest on it. Or Soul Calibur 2, I should say, looked the prettiest on it.
Yep. So, yeah. They just didn't get a lot of the other like bangers as other ones.
Nope. Imagine if Final Fantasy 7 got a remaster on GameCube.
Shoot, any Final Fantasy game.
10
should have been on the GameCube if it was that popular. It should have been on the GameCube.
Yeah.
So, what about you? Let's open it up. What Phil? Anything? Any struck out to you? Phil? You? What? Anything?
Well, I already told you about Pikmin 4, so we already covered that. Something that I thought would be fun. I don't know how fun it would be as a party game, but Samba de Amigo.
There is a cult following for that ever since. Dude, it's a big niche, because they've been doing that for years, ever since the Dreamcast. I never played them. Is they really that fun?
I played the Dreamcast version. I briefly had the maracas as well. That was fun.
Okay.
So we're not getting maracas with this, but with the Joy-Cons, you're like, po, you know, it's just, you know, fun, moving, getting silly, being silly. It's like, it's in that vein, like with DDR and taiko drums.
Okay.
So and it's fun. One that did catch my attention. I'm actually torn between Disney's Illusion Island, because it's kind of like that Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion, Illusion Island, because it's 4 players: Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, and Donald.
Is that Rayman style?
Yeah, Rayman Origins, yeah. Mm-hmm. It is that Rayman style. You use teamwork. You actually combine moves and stuff. That looks like that would be fun, especially, you know, couch co-op. Like a decent sized family, that game's going to fly off the shelves.
Yeah,
smart.
My only weirdness of it is I wish they move a little bit quicker. They look like they run real slow, and the camera is so panned out. It's like wow.
I wonder if they adjust for how many players are playing.
I hope so. But even Rayman with 4 players, the camera was a little more zoomed in. You know.
Yeah. Probably something they could probably hash out and fix. The other one is Sea of Stars. It looked interesting.
Yes, which the demo is out. You can play the demo right now before it comes out. I've been keeping an eye on this game. And you know, let's be honest here. Every game likes to throw the word Chrono Trigger out the window. We had not seen it. We've seen this all the time. But this one here,
people who play Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, this one here, I see it through the co-op actions that they do. That's what I feel like the ones, especially some of the moves, like you saw the girl, she would throw a move, it bounced back to her, and then bounce to someone else, and it bounced here. I see more of that co-op in another way. And for people who don't know, this is the same developers that did the Ninja Gaiden inspired kind of game, The Messenger. So people that don't know that, but I've been keeping on this. I have the demo downloaded. I do want to definitely play that when I get a chance. Along with Octopath Traveler 2, that also has a demo out.
Well, and the reason they throw Chrono Trigger around is because guest composer Yasunori Mitsuda from Chrono Cross, Chrono Trigger, and the Xeno series He's a guest composer.
Yes, and I think that's definitely one of those things. I'm wondering how the soundtrack's gonna be. I think the animation looks great. I think
Oh
that's
yeah,
what pulled
no, it
me
looks
in.
beautiful.
It has
That's
that.
not even a question.
Yeah, it weirdly enough, and walk with me here. You feel free to argue with me. It does have that Sonic kind of graphic feel, like Beyond Oasis kind of vibe
It
graphically.
does have some of the almost it could be an animated cartoon.
Yeah.
Beyond Oasis, or is it Beyond Oasis? Yeah, Beyond Oasis was a Sega Genesis.
Yeah, yeah. It
Um,
just has that vibe because it feels like there's some like Arabian kind of feels in there. That's the
well, I
reason why.
mean, not even that, just how the characters move
Mm.
and how things are shaded, and it's almost like they're cell animations.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
um,
Because
oh,
you
go
have this game along with a last gym people are talking about that came out December of last year. Echo something I forgot, but um, this was a big RPG game. They said it's like Chrono Trigger and Xenoblade put together. I'll look it up while
all
you.
claims. You know what makes Chrono Trigger so beloved as Chrono Trigger? It was an epic RPG that you could knock out in 20 to 25 hours, more, or more, depending on what you put into it. That's why I actually watched a presentation about that, or kind of a report slash video on it, and it was like, what makes JRPGs the must plays? Is it the quantity? Is it the quantity equals quality? Does everyone want to play a 50 to 75 hour adventure? You know, in your case, you put 100, 200 hours in Xenoblade Chronicles.
Uh,
But I don't know. Me personally, I like that sweet spot of 30 to 40 hours tops.
Chain Echoes. That's what it's called.
Chain Echoes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's also it's the game is short, but the bonus is ongoing. Right?
The story pulls you in.
Yeah, you get pulled by the story, but you also know like there's more. But you can choose to continue if you want
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's the pacing. Chrono Trigger had where the enemies were on screen. You could run around. You could avoid them if you didn't want to fight them. There weren't enemies on the overworld. You know, and that's the thing that makes a killer JRPG for me. Pacing. If the pacing is on point, I'm in there.
to.
And the thing is, unfortunately, the games that have the best pacing are games that are sub 50 hours, sub 40 hours.
I can agree with that to a certain point. Because we're talking about just more of those, not like your MMOs. Those are different territories.
No,
but
they count on you sinking time into that.
but I think is also yes a good story, but also good characters. If you enjoyed the characters, you're willing to stay longer in the game for the characters because you're hoping that you'll learn more about those characters. But if the character's not interesting, you're just hoping that the game is not that long, in my opinion. And so
and that's the thing. I mean, it's got to have a good story, and if the characters aren't any good, the story's not good.
yeah, that's something we'll have to debate about. What's more important to you, characters or story in an RPG game? And so that would be an interesting conversation. And so
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, it's probably characters before story for me personally.
It. I don't know. To me, it goes hand in hand. Like the reason.
No, I get that. I'm just saying some
Lunar
games
had
can.
great characters and great stories.
So let me rewind it back. With the right ingredients, yes, that makes perfect sense. But if the game is trying on one or the other, which one would that work better for you? I would say characters for me. Because if the story's not that good, at least the characters were fun for the ride in that aspect.
Yeah.
But maybe for you like the story. If the story's really good, I can deal with these characters not being that interesting because I know the stories. I don't know what your answer is. I'm just saying from my experience, say like, you could argue, I guess, like my Tales games. My Tales games don't have the best stories because they kind of repeat the same story. Anything that has to do with saving the world over and over again, it's not really going to give you the best story. So for me, I liked it because I enjoyed the characters. So for me. And so
yeah, I mean, I can see that because you're going to be spending the most time with the characters. Going from story beat to story beat, and at some point, you play enough RPGs, you've played all the permutations of the save the world, possibly kill God, kind of story. So
Mhm.
I can see that. That's why I lean more towards story at times,
Mhm.
because if you have a good twist
Mhm.
on that story,
Mhm.
then you can forgive the two-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
But it varies. It varies.
Yeah, yeah, and especially in the JRPG front, because American RPG games, um, you can definitely tell it's all about content more than story and characters. It's all about like
I mean,
how
sometimes
big.
RPG too. It's like, hey, case in point, Final Fantasy X.
Mm,
Final Fantasy X. That game is long as hell if you go after all the content.
same thing with 12, which 12 is my favorite. Um, but I can tell you right now, the story's nothing to talk about. But the journey with those characters, I enjoyed.
Yeah, I enjoyed the way the characters interacted,
Yeah,
but yeah, that story
yeah,
lost me again. Like I
yeah,
have characters super
absolutely,
leveled up, and the story
absolutely.
lost me again. I'm like, man, this ain't right.
Absolutely. But that journey going through all those different worlds and everything was fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy and the characters that were on the ride for it. But
What kills me
absolutely.
is that it's set in the world of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Which that's a different story. I have small issues with Final Fantasy 12 when it comes to their characters.
Yeah,
But back to like what you say for Final Fantasy 10. Yeah, for Final Fantasy 10, I really care more about the characters in the story because the story already left me there. So I care more about the character.
and it was the first one with voiced characters. The characters actually voice acting back and forth with emotion and
Yeah.
stuff.
So I don't know how Sea of Stars is going to be. Because I think also too we're forgetting that maybe hopefully the gameplay will help carry that if the story and the characters are not that interesting. So let's hope for that. But I am excited for that. We don't have a date for it. It's said 2023, I believe it says, but the demo's out, so definitely check it out. Along with Octopath Traveler 2, which a lot of people are excited for, because it's not only coming out for Switch on the same day, it's also coming out for PS4 and PS5.
Yeah,
And probably later on it'll come out for Microsoft, like they did with Octopath Traveler, the first one, on Game
yeah,
Pass or something like that.
yeah.
And so I wanted to play the first one. First one is a little tough now to buy or find and buy at the price that they're wanting. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll give Octopath Traveler 2. I don't think I need to play the first one to enjoy it.
You
It's his
don't.
own thing. It looks like maybe you can tell me since you played it. It looks like did they look like they definitely did some quality of life?
They made the characters' stories kind of intersect more.
Okay.
And they're still doing the whole thing where the first letter of the main character's name is all spelled out Octopath.
Yes.
But beyond that, the quality of life that I hope for the most is improved, tighter pacing of the battles.
Okay.
Okay. That's the main thing that just pulls me out of JRPGs. The battle, if the battle drags on too long, I'm just like, especially if you got to grind levels. I'm just like, God.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah. What about Bayonetta Origins?
It's not worth it right now for me. I don't know why. Like, I mean, yes, you get a comparison of Akami, and the gameplay reminds you of Brothers.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying it in a mean way. I think I will eventually play it, but it's definitely not something that really shouts loud enough. I think this is going to be a small niche. I don't think it's going to sell very well. But I think it's almost like a Pentiment. I think this was just a passion game they're putting out, and so be it. And I hope it does well. And maybe if it gets great reviews and there's more to this underneath the hood, then maybe I'll change my mind. But I think I need to get into Bayonetta 3 first to get excited to play. Okay, I want to play it because I believe there is you can play a little bit of it in Bayonetta 3, like a little snippet of.
Yeah, you
not
get kind of like Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker.
Yeah, you get something like that. So maybe that will change my mind once I decide to get Bayonetta 3 and give that a try. And so.
True. I want to get Bayonetta 3, but I have no business playing it if I haven't even finished the first two.
Okay. Deca Police. I am intrigued by Deca Police. First of all, level 5 is kind of coming back in the game, and I'm glad they're kind of doing something a little bit different that's up my alley. Deca Police, I like the idea that it's a sci-fi futuristic that deals with reality and virtual reality, and I'm trying to get the swing of the battle system. I need to see a little bit. Yeah, I need to see a little bit more, but I like it. I like where it's going. It has a little bit of the Astral Chain kind of vibe feel a little bit in there. Not the gameplay, just kind of that world. Looks pretty cool.
Or Scarlet Nexus, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for urban sci-fi stuff in the world like that. You know, you could take that with Astral Chain, Deus Ex, Cyberpunk. I just like those kind of like futuristic cities. So I like to see what they're trying to do with this. The cast looks interesting. So yeah, I will be keeping an eye on that game. Definitely. I think this game could be a really special gem. So
yeah. From what I saw from it, it looks like it's like a mixture of it. The way you run around the city kind of reminds me of Akiba Strip. And then you run into battles and you start a battle like in the same area where you run it. You don't do a scene transition, just there. So it makes me wonder, you know, and with the virtual reality, like you said, how things change up. Your party expands. Are you by yourself in the real world, and then with a party of people in the virtual reality? How does it work? I hope when it comes out, it's not a full $70. I would do 50 tops for it personally.
Do you think there's a chance that it would be 50?
I mean, there's a chance it'll be 50, but I mean, it's level 5. They are pretty much. I don't know if they're exclusively with Nintendo, but they're pretty much with Nintendo.
Yeah, because Professor Layton got announced too on the same direct.
Yes. Yeah, so it's probably be 50. I don't see it being above 60. Okay. Being above 60 is a stretch.
Okay. Unless the game is really good.
I mean, that game could be really good, but it's enough people aren't hyped for it. They can't get away with charging 70.
You mean they can? You don't think they'll succeed, probably.
I mean, they can charge 70. I'm just saying they won't be able to get away with it.
Okay.
They won't be moving units. You'll be seeing that in the Black Friday sale for $45.95.
I'll be right there. I have Ghost Tricks, and I haven't touched it. Then I see this, and I'm like, I want to play it now. I forgot it. These are the same developer that did Ace Attorney.
The redhead looks like the girl from Foster's Home for.
It does look like her. Yeah. The Foster Home with imaginary creatures or whatever. Yeah, no. Ghost Trick looks interesting. It looks funny. I wanna play the remaster edition of this one. I think I like the idea of this is more of a puzzle game, and this is when Capcom were taking risks of just wacky ideas. So I want to try to support those wacky ideas. So I might give this one a try for what it is.
I mean, it was a mobile game. I really hope they price it.
Originally, I think it came on the DS first. Then it was a mobile game.
I hope they price it appropriately, because otherwise they might end up screwing themselves out of exposure.
Yes. I think a good price would be 30, maybe 20 if they want to cut it, but 30 probably max.
Yeah.
So anything else for you that stood out?
Not for me, but I know I'd probably end up getting it for Brandy, the We Love Katamari reroll.
That is, I never got into those. I heard they were fun. Just never got into them.
Katamari was so much fun. I would recommend playing the original Katamari if you can, but if you can't, Katamari reroll is good enough. And then We Love Katamari. Yeah, the Katamari games in general, I think there was like 3 or 4 of them. They're fun. They're short games. You can beat them in an afternoon, maybe a weekend. Mm-hmm. But they're fun. They're just, it's fun kind of zoning out and just rolling a ball and collecting stuff. I mean, it's the essence of what a game should be. Just chill.
Yeah. Okay.
Chill and roll things up.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's all I got.
Okay, me too. All right. And that